Speaking of like the notion of the Dark Ages, like it's a very European construct. The idea that like the Roman Empire fell,
and it's also not even that accurate
for
within
300 years.
It's not even that accurate within Europe. It's certainly not a technical term, as I understand it from. Again, if he's watching, my dad with a background in medieval history refuses to use the term Dark Age. It's just saying it's really not meaningful.
Well, the very period of Japanese history that we were just talking about. So I think of the Heian era, like basically medieval Japan. Like this society that I mentioned, where nobles were stratified into 30 ranks, like their cultural and artistic pursuits were light years ahead of what was going on in Europe at the time. So as I understand it, that particular period of Japanese history, so around about the kind of 9th and 10th century, economically and politically they weren't breaking new ground. Like most people lived in dirt poverty, but like they produced wonderful literature, they produced incredible works of art, they built things that have subsisted for many hundreds of years after they were gone. So way, way in front of what Europeans were doing. But yet Europeans think of this as the Dark Ages.
We're the ones writing our own history. Yeah.
Exactly.
Which is, and problems that come with that, yeah.
Exactly. But elsewhere on planet Earth, people were doing great things. It's just that Europeans were not taught to acknowledge these when we think about history.
No, exactly. Right. I'm gonna, in case we get hammerheads.
Hang on.
We've got some nonsense going on.
We've got resistance on the right-hand side. Now,
Yeah,
remember this. You see, like
nonsense. Yeah.
I don't think even our librarian and force commander units can reveal those. I remember that this alleyway being an absolute pain in the ass.
Yeah, hence why I'm basically just throwing expendable assault marines through there.
And we're just sending them to die.
Oh, yeah, happily.
This is a different approach for us, Doctor. We're being far more aggressive than we usually would. But like, let's see how it goes.
That's what I just want to kind of mix things up a bit, tactics-wise. Jesus.
Would you describe
Oh
them
my
as,
god, they got a fucking
Oh my
Krutox.
god, look at that monster!
That's not on. A greater Narlocky, not Krutox.
This is like a greater Narlock, so it's like a beast of burden, a war monster that is raised by the Kroot, and it's super, super powerful.
Yeah, we're gonna have a bad time here, actually, I think.
I think our Marines are probably doomed, but like, hey, maybe they'll take some Tau with them, who knows?
Yeah, I'm basically going to kind of leave them there. Serve the Emperor well, lads.
Would you say that like we're using our assault marines as a kamikaze unit, Doctor?
Because I think there's a lot of problems with that phrase, but yeah.
Do you know what the word kamikaze actually translates as?
I do not.
It means divine wind.
That's very on brand.
It's kind of cool, is what it is. I mean, like the concept of like a kamikaze fighter is not cool, but like the word divine wind is really awesome.
Yeah, I'll give you both of those counts.
Conversely to like their historical Japanese counterparts, like again, this is one of the ways like it's reductive to say that like Japanese culture is really like the Tau, and the Tau are just exclusively based on Japanese culture. That's very reductive to both the fictional race and, more problematically, the very real nation of Japan.
Yeah.
But the Tau place a lot of value in the lives of their soldiers. There's a wonderful interaction in this game, actually. If you play as Tau and you attack the Space Marine stronghold, there's a voice interaction between Shazo Case, the Tau commander, and Davian Thule, where he begs Thule to surrender because he knows he's going to win. He's like, surrender, like your men can withdraw to orbit, I won't kill them. And Thule said, I'll never abandon my duty to the Emperor. And Case tells him, it pains me that you think so little of your own men, that you don't value them more. And Thule says back to him, like, Shazo Case, it pains me that you think so highly of yours. And it's like, it's a really like good way to distinguish like just the differences in the way the Imperium and the Tau Empire treat their soldiery.
There we go. First time really using missile launchers much.
Missile launchers are very effective against vehicles.
Certainly these...
They are trash against anything
these are
else.
some of the heaviest vehicles we've had to deal with in any way, so... so I figured having like a gun line essentially of missile launchers here alongside regular Marines is handy.
Yeah, the vehicle we just saw there, the viewership, the Hammerhead gunship, is one of the Tau's principal battle tanks. It's one of the most powerful battle tanks in the galaxy.
Yes, I can
so,
believe
like,
that.
other than super heavy weapons.
Crisis suit.
A battle suit, a crisis battle suit, which looks actually really cool.
Apart from the dumb little fucking rabbit
quickly.
ears, which I am not a fan of.
I think they're for communication purposes,
Still.
but they look dumb. They look very, very dumb. I don't know if you can hear it, viewership, on the recording, but like there's distinctly like kind of fluty
generic Asian
sort
music,
of,
which is also
yeah,
has problems.
Yes. I'd actually admire that like they made the Tau a melee-focused unit. It'd be very easy for like the game developers to lean into the samurai aspect of it all, because obviously samurai fought with swords, sort of.
Yeah. Right, let's do something a bit different.
Well, what are we going to do then, Doctor?
Build a whirlwind, because I've literally never built one in my life, so why not?
There is a reason for that, but
that's probably true, but we've got to try anyway.
I like that we tried the melee thing, and it turns out that didn't go so well.
Maybe not, no. Not Sacred Icon. Not Sacred Icon. Too much Halo.
The body count is really racking up already in this map.
For both of us, actually. They are doing a decent amount of damage to us. I think they're putting up a good fight.
But we still get plenty of vehicle.
Oh yeah, we'll be fine. But
our economy is healthy. We're just adapting to the conditions on the ground.
And like, to be honest...
On the subject of the samurai, Doctor, I did a bunch of reading about them as well.
Yeah.
Do you know that like by the 19th century the samurai had basically become bureaucrats?
Well, they always were a kind
rather
of political nobility class. They were what knights were in some ways, yeah.
I was going to say, like, we in the West, we think of them as being like, oh, the equivalent of knights. And if you think about it, like, knights in 19th century Britain weren't people who were out jousting and fighting and hitting one another with lances and sharp bits of metal. They were just public servants who had achieved great works and were rewarded for it in much the same way as the samurai were.
I assume you've heard this before, because we have similar people on Facebook, but you've heard of the thing of how there was about a 30-year period in which it was possible for a samurai to send a fax to Abraham Lincoln.
It's wild.
Because those are three things that people don't think about coexisting, but they did.
It's absolutely wild that, like, Abraham Lincoln that we think of as
Telegram, sorry, the sprite's here to tell me. No, I'm pretty sure it's fax. Anyway, either way, go on.
It must be a telegram. A fax is much more modern.
Maybe. I think that's the point, that the fax is surprisingly old. Oh, shite.
I think we should maybe pull our predators back because they seem to be getting. Oh no, they're standing up to it well. But...
Yeah, they'll be fine enough. But this is the force before the players decided to come in.
If we can kill the greater Narlock.
Yeah.
The Tau actually have like in the game now, as in the tabletop version of 40k, they have an even cooler mega unit called a Storm Surge, which is like a mobile weapons platform, which is like their ultimate battlesuit, effectively. And it looks a lot cooler than the big dinosaur that's currently rampaging towards our lines. Maybe the Doctor can put up an image in the future of a Storm Surge battlesuit. But it looks a lot better than that big dinosaur.
Obviously, that was quite effective from the Whirlwind. We did successfully kind of scatter their forces that were there, which just bought me a brief moment.
It's conceptually cool, the Whirlwind. I like that, heavy artillery is a thing. Let's get our Grey Knights into someone, though.
They should be. Oh, they were involved.
Now, we've learned that we do not use the bombardment anymore.
No, because Thule aims like a bell end, yeah.
Have we lost the whole squad of Marines down there?
It does look that way, doesn't it? This Narlock is being a problem. Right, where are those fucking... Oh, they're in here, that's why. I was going to say, there's Terminators somewhere, but they are hiding inside drop pods. Oh, not driving drop pods, just teleporty points.
Remember and keep reinforcing the Grey Knights, because they hit hard, but they're not that durable.
That is true.
Oh, we killed the Narlock. That's a big deal.
That is a big deal, you're right.
I think if we have a couple of durable melee units that can wade into battle and tie up their nasty stuff.
Yeah, I'm basically thinking Grey Knights, heavy Terminators, regular Terminators, backed up by Predators and a couple of Marines. Also, why can you have two Predators but only one Whirlwind? That's bizarre.
I think we could have more than one Whirlwind.
Absolutely not. Limit one.
That's
weird, yeah.
Very strange.
Yeah. It makes it sound like it's twice as good as a Predator, which is not true. So
we should stop. The Whirlwind is continuing to pound the shit out of that one location, so we should stop it doing that.
Yep. We'll push up here a little bit.
Thule has taken an absolute pasting.
Let's bring the chaplain over here. He's attached
with Longinus, the lonely.
Well, he's attached to Longinus at the moment because Longinus needed healing. But well, we've actually got two of our veteran Terminators here, which I guess should also come up here for the heavy fire support that we want.
Doctor, I'm going to tell you what I always tell you.
Build more Marines.
Build more Marines.
Yep. That's fair.
If you don't, I will, because I can assume.
God, this is not on. We can't have that. Right.
Okay, can't we? Can't we? Oh no, I can click on things, but I can't move the camera.
You are
That's this.
The camera is moved by pushing off the edges, which I think you can't do. Technically, you could move it with the arrow keys, but don't do that. Right, this is you need to stop. You need to stop.
I am the master now.
Oh god, he's gone mad with power.
Too long have I sat in the shadows, Doctor. Now the age of the bard has begun.
And the funny thing is, you playing Dawn of War through my computer would probably still be a smoother experience than actually trying to play it on the laptop you're currently on.
Yeah, I worry if I tried to play any modern, quote-unquote, as in from this side of the millennium video game, it would melt this laptop into hot slag.
Well, it's not. Yeah, what you're experiencing now is not not dissimilar of a system to what I have set up here, where I have a system that streams my games just within my house to a tiny computer that's attached to the TV down in the living room, so I can play games downstairs. If you know what a Raspberry Pi is, it's one of those.
Stand ready.
I don't, but maybe the viewership
You will see what a Raspberry Pi is when we play 40k, because it's going to be running one of the cameras. It's like a 40 quid, basically like circuit board that has a very, very lightweight computing system on it.
I don't know what that is, but maybe the viewership does. If you understand the Doctor's techno wizardry viewership, pop up and tell us in the comments. And whilst you're here, if you're enjoying the content, remember, like, share, subscribe. We love it when you guys share our content beyond your immediate circle. If you know anyone who likes 40k, if you know anyone who likes science fiction and our weird discussions about knights and samurai and all that kind of shenanigans, be sure and share this content as widely as you can. Have we got upped the cap on our heavy weapons?
Yes. Yeah, I've got everything in the armory. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
No, I don't go for that. I learned that was a fun tactic I learned during the Necron thing, which is basically just have a steady supply of dreadnoughts builded, queued up to build into the orbital relay, and then just blasting them in when needed. That worked really well against the Necrons.
I think if we push quickly, we could destroy that forward base before they inevitably rebuild that greater Narlock.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I'm just worried about.
We will have to run a gauntlet of all those guys.
We're in the nonsense
shoot us
tunnel.
From their irritating stealth positions.
Yeah, there's some beacon that gets rid of that your man mentioned in the opening.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Let's just try and take this forward base for the time being.
Let's just fucking shell it from a distance. Why not? Everyone else moving forwards.
I really like that, they animate the missile, so it's not just the whirlwind fires and there's an explosion. You can see the missile.
Yeah, that is quite cool. You're right. Right, assault Terminators. Do some assaulting. That sounds like they anyway. That doesn't sound great. I realise all of a sudden. Oh, these are sexual assault Terminators.
Oh my god, another Narlock!
This is not on.
And get Thule and his guys into the Narlock.
Right, I'm going to do what we swore we'd never do.
Oh no, this is dangerous.
I'm doing it.
Activate Word of the Emperor.
Doing it. There you go. There he actually did it where I wanted him to.
Hey, that's you look at being useful.
Which is anything. It's more annoying knowing that he can aim. He just apparently chooses not to most of the time.
Yeah, get our assault Terminators to assault that Narlock.
Yeah, why are they not actually?
In a non-sexual way. I mean, these Tau are adopting exactly what I would do when I play Tau, which is to tie up my enemies' nastier units with the Narlock and then shoot them with fire warriors from the rear.
Yes, it is annoying, you're right.
But we seem to be prevailing.
Button, but oh well. Yeah, we're doing alright.
There we go. That went a lot better than when we just sent 20 Marines to die horribly.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think assault Marines are great. I'll be honest.
No, we did try viewership, so we did try to experiment. It's just not gone very well from us. Surprise!
Now attack him! What are you doing, man? Attack! There we go. God,
they take a moment to kind of
warm up.
I don't know, think about it.
Oh god.
Can we reinforce it? Yeah, you're all way ahead of me, Doctor.
Yeah, it's just.
Can our librarian reveal those units?
That's a great question. He's not here, so we don't know. Let's build a second librarian because we can and should. Therefore.
We've had one librarian, yes. What about second librarian? Because that is... Hang on, can we call in, can we get the Whirlwind to shoot where those guys are standing? Even if we can't see them, can we just bombard them anyway?
You can't shoot what you can't see. That's literally one of the Tau lines that they say. Let's see if that's going to work.
Oh, can't we? Can't we?
Oh yeah, no, we've gone right in the mouth.
Oh yes, we can!
Spectacularly well. That was deeply enjoyable, actually. That one slightly missed.
Space Marines have no concept of danger close.
God, apparently, yeah, you got to hit him right in the face. Oh, things happening back at base. Bad things happening. Actually, it's fine.
Oh, man.
Well, it's not... Well,
No, not necessarily.
not amazing, no.
I think we need like a more robust rear guard.
I know.
Our dreadnoughts are getting good work done.
Yeah, I didn't even pay for these dreadnoughts. These are, well, I did, but these are still the Honor Guard dreadnoughts.
We have 2 Honor Guard dreadnoughts.
Yeah. Well, we're regular under Hellfire.
Outstanding.
I think it's mostly when the vehicles come in, and to be honest, as soon as I bring the missile dudes in, the vehicles don't last long. Actually.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, this missile unit is paying for itself. They really are. Right, we should...
Missile weapons are very strong. They're very versatile on the tabletop as well.
Yeah. Where's my other librarian? Cool. Right, you're going to come up here.
I hope he can reveal these guys, otherwise this is going to get irritating.
Yep.
Well, the Whirlwind's hitting some of them.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that he scatters them even further when he...
Yeah. Oh, get fucked, son! He went to the moon!
I think we killed that guy.
That was enjoyable.
I love it like the Tau guy said, you can't shoot what you can't see. No, can't we? Can't we?
Not accurately, no, but conceptually, yes. It's just weird having to target them literally one by one.
We can just use overwhelming firepower, it's fine.
Oh, it looks like he can reveal them.
He can reveal them, excellent.
You guys are going to be...
Oh, there we go, that will be that. Let's attach him to the Terminators, I'll keep him nice and safe.
That's true. I'll keep everyone nice and safe. Right, let's bring up a servitor, I think, and...
Of course, like, oh, hang on.
No, stop, don't follow him, you silly bastards. Yeah.
I'd set the Predators to the blue stance.
Yeah. Predators.
Now, of course, like, our librarian being almost identical to Richard Nixon, he wouldn't say, "Venerate the immortal emperor," he'd say, "Venerate the immortal president." Aru, I made you hippies halfway.
So these are like our fucking witch-finder Terminators at the moment here, whose job is basically just to find infiltrated units and beat the shit out of them at the direction of their librarian.
There's something deeply, like, just not cathartic, but appropriate of Richard Nixon leading a death squad of Supermarines to kill communists.
Yeah,
because Nixon,
that checks out.
Newsflash, viewership, Nixon hated communists.
None can stand before us.
Actually, these guys don't want to be on the blue stance, do they? They actually want to be on the old ground, because they're melee.
Yeah. Interesting fact, as much as I'm giving Nixon a hard time for how much he hated communism, and he did, he clearly did, he also was the first American president, I think, in like 200 years, or maybe the first American president ever to visit China, which was an explicitly communist country.
Well, that's because they didn't let you before then, yeah. They were very anti-outsiders.
They were, but like he was the first modern president, effectively, to visit communist China or to like open relationships with an explicitly communist nation. And you think of Nixon as being a really hard-line president, which he definitely was. He was not a good man, like by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it comes down to how the awkward question of how communist actually is China. And the answer is it's really complicated.
Oh, do you want to elaborate, Doctor?
Like, obviously they're communist, but they absolutely, in a lot of ways, are very capitalist because they make money by selling goods and services on the global market. So,
yeah. I suppose like there is a difference between private enterprise making money by selling goods and services and the state profiting.
Yes, that's fair.
From goods and services on the international market.
Oh, shite.
Our Predators are still, I think, more durable than the Hammerhead, so they should mince it.
Especially, let's set this servitor to repair this one. These two guys do have some missile launchers. Oh, there we go. Right, I think we can hopefully... We've just been clearing up this kind of upper area here. My plan is to push on towards this, whichever command post is over here.
Either the Kauyon or the Montka.
Yes,
The Killing Blow or the Patient Hunter.
One of those, definitely.
Why are Marines running right up to them?
That's a great question. You talk shit about it, but the Whirlwind I'm actually having a lot of fun with. It's doing stuff.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. Like, maybe I've underestimated it.
Wait for it.
Nixon's back. Arrow!
Nixon always wins. And at night I'll break into people's houses and wreck up the place.
I don't feel great about, like, you know, having fun basically role-playing a war criminal, but yeah.
Fine, okay, we can call him the Tony Blair Squadron then. Oh, no, wait.
Oh,
Hey!
yeah, our British war criminal. Well, let's not pretend we're any better
It's
than
a
you,
different
America.
flavour of war criminal. War criminal diet.
Yeah. Palatable, handsome, young war criminal,
Yeah.
as opposed to, like, Nixon.
God, have you seen
looks like he's a guy who could
Tony
commit
Blair's
war crimes.
haircut recently? He's grown.
He looks like a wizard.
He's grown like a mullet. It's horrific.
He does look like a wizard. It's disturbing.
Yeah, but the bad kind of.
For those who
wizard.
maybe aren't aware, like maybe some of our younger viewership, our American viewership, Tony Blair was like the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom who basically got us to help you guys invade Iraq, and we all know how that turned out, which is not well.
In retrospect, this has not been viewed as a popular move. It wasn't even at the time. In retrospect, yeah.
Yeah, because this poor like nation in the Middle East definitely had weapons of mass destruction. That was totally a thing
absolutely.
that they could have had.
Yep. At least we confirmed they didn't.
Yeah, only after we killed a whole bunch of people. Yeah.
Yeah. Fun. That's what imperialism is. Fun.
That is what imperialism is.
Right. That's.
I suppose like the Tau, like as a race in 40k, are analogous to this. So like they are the young upstart, bright hope of the galaxy versus these old imperial powers like the Imperium of Man,
Yeah.
like the Eldar Empire,
They're all kind of
like
stagnant
Necrons.
or actively on the way out.
Yeah, but which are exclusively imperial powers. You know, like they win by conquest, whereas the Tau more often than not assimilate rather than like
Yeah.
conquer. So the Krut and the Vespid, they're kind of alien auxiliaries, are willing participants in the Tau society. They haven't been enslaved. They haven't been like conquered. There is a symbiotic relationship between these races in the Tau.
Yeah. God, so the stuff I've been doing at work recently is about like data protection and stuff like that, and they talk a lot about the term compliance, and it always makes me think about bringing worlds into imperial compliance and adherence to the imperial truth and stuff like that. I just can't take it seriously as a concept.
We were talking like about the philosophical notion of consent before this actually began, Doctor, weren't
Yeah.
we? So the notion that like there's a very famous English philosopher called Thomas Hobbes, and he says that like you can take implied consent according to Hobbes, which is a problematic notion. So for Hobbes, if you are walking down the king's highway, then you must consent to the authority of the king because he made the highway. You're in the king's country, and just by existing there, you consent to the authority of the king, even if. For Hobbes, you are walking down the highway with a knife in your pocket with the intention of killing the king. But tacitly, just by existing in that country, you assent or you in some way consent to the king's authority.
Yeah.
And like we're talking about how this relates to the use of data in the modern world.
Yeah.
So if you sign up to Twitter, are you tacitly consenting to Twitter doing what it wants with your data? just
The
by
argument
signing
against
up?
that would always be you could not be on Twitter may have been different in, Kant's... Was it Kant you said? Hobbes' time.
Hobbes.
Might have been different in his time, but nowadays you can't not be governed. There is literally, like, no way you can be where you are not under someone's sovereign jurisdiction. And that's where that argument in the modern day does fall apart a little.
Yeah, I mean, it may have been possible when Hobbes was writing in, like, the 16th or 17th century.
Yeah.
That you could have found an untouched corner of the world. You could have gone out to like far away in Eastern Europe or to like the New World, as Hobbes would have called it, and you could have like made a house somewhere and not been subject to anyone's authority. But whether or not that's realistic in the 21st century is debatable.